So, Brooke, remember Superman Last Son?
Yeah.
What if I told you there's more?
For only an easy payment of $19.95 and my firstborn child?
And an arm and a leg.
Oh boy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharing Comics Club. That's the club where you share your comics with your friends. I am the host with the most. That's Dave.
And Brooke.
So, written by Geoff Johns with art by Gary Frank, we are continuing Superman Last Son with the second half of the story. The first part was a complete story where Superman fought General Zod, but this one, Superman fights someone else.
I wonder who it could be.
Oh, I wonder. So we cut to the planet Krypton before it exploded, and it's being invaded by these skeletal robots stabbing people through the head with wires that come out of their robot hands. And I love how shiny they are.
Pretty, shiny.
Skeletor got all chrome, because as we know, everything is chrome in the future.
Future.
But this is a flashback, so I guess one might say that the future is in the past. Onwards, Aoshima!
Honestly, I'm just to kind of dive off a little bit. That is my favorite moment of Gravity Falls.
Oh, I have too many to count.
All right, back to the story.
And as we see, fighting these skeletal robots, we see our old foes Ursa and Zod leading the army against them, the Kryptonian army. Ursa asks if this is the end that Non and Jor-El were talking about, and Zod says, no, this is something different, something alien. Where are the Green Lanterns?
That is a great question. They are, you know what? They're just taking a vacation.
They've been busy. It's a whole galaxy they got to defend.
They got there's a lot of stars that they got to deal with.
I mean, they can't deal with every gigantic skull ship with robot tentacles, like the one floating above Krypton. And then the ship shoots out these big bug-shaped drones, these big bad Beetleborgs, if you will. And these robots blast the army away while the Beetles make a force field around the city of Kandor. The skull ship floats to the top of the force field, and just as Zod promises that he'll save them, there's a large flash of light and the city is gone, and leaving only a circle-shaped crater where it once stood. And so we cut to the present, and Superman's boss, Perry White, is calling a staff meeting. News team, assemble! And Perry is wondering where Jimmy is. Thankfully, Jimmy shows up with coffee and dinky donuts. Did you bring Boston cream, Jimmy? Yes. All is forgiven.
I don't know. I'm not a Boston cream kind of person, so I wouldn't forgive him, but tomato, tomato, I guess.
Is this a test of our friendship? The Boston cream versus the non-Boston cream?
That's it, David. 3 p.m. at the playground. We'll fight over these donuts.
So anyway, Jimmy hands out the drinks, and we get to meet Lois and Clark's other co-workers because, yeah, surprisingly, more than 4 people work at the Daily Planet. And so we meet Catherine Grant, who used to work at the Planet but left to be in LA, but now she's back, and she's working on entertainment and arts, aka gossip. And she's got a piece on Supergirl coming. And no, Cat is not Power Girl. I can see the confusion. Because they're both blonde, you see.
Yeah. Both blonde. Both women.
And both in a Superman book.
Yep.
Also, there's this guy with his feet up on the table, and he's griping that Jimmy didn't get him a beer. His name is Steve Lombard, the sports editor. And I'm pretty sure Steve existed previously beforehand as well, like in the 70s or something. And he behaves like he was raised in a barn, unlike Clark, who was practically raised in a barn.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, we have Ron Troop, who I guess is a reporter like Lois. They don't say, but based on what they say he writes, I guess while Lois reports on superheroes, Ron reports on real world crimes and issues.
Which is boring compared to what Lois does. Can you imagine having that job? Lois just coming in. Yeah, I just had this big story with Batman and Wonder Woman. What'd you have? An old lady got robbed. That's not
Was it by a
fun.
cat? Was it by a cat burglar with a whip? No, it was by some guy in a ski mask. Ah, Captain Ski Mask is at it again.
I'll forward the story to you.
Or it's more like, I just wrote this whole story and it was a great interview with the Justice League. Flash is so fun. What'd you do, Ron? I wrote about the budget deficit.
Oh,
What's that about? I don't know. No one knows.
we just know that it's bad and something's about to happen.
We also established that Steve doesn't get along with Ron and the feeling is mutual. It's also because like Ron wrote a piece on unethical sports doctors destroying the American pastime. But since this is the DC universe, I just imagine, so what if the doctor gave the batter some of like Bane's steroids called Venom and he hulked out and started tearing up the entire stadium? And then Steve would be like, it was the first time that team got a home run that season.
Listen, they never made it to the World Series, and this was the one time they make it to the World Series. It's like if like the Jets finally won something.
Last time I checked, Venom wasn't one of the illegal drugs. It's super illegal. A Batman villain uses it. But is it on the list?
No. Then I rest my case.
It's like Futurama said, you are technically correct. The best kind of correct. Anyway, Steve asks Ron why he hates baseball so much, and Ron says he doesn't hate baseball, he hates ignorance. And Clark just wants his papers, which just so happen to be under Steve's boots. Real class act, that Steve. No class act.
I was gonna say, wait.
Clark also reintroduces himself and Lois to Steve, but Steve is eyeballing Lois. You know, married Lois Lane. He says, from what I hear, there ain't no Daily Planet without Lois Lane. And Lois says, it's a team effort. And Lombard goes, you like teams? You like jazz?
You like jazz. Also, it's just like, this is a team effort, but Lois does big superhero things, so she gets a lot of stories that we need. Yeah, totally a team.
Lois is the only one besides Jimmy and Clark that have been around since the beginning, and maybe Perry. Anyway, Clark uses his heat vision on the leg of Steve's chair, but on the low setting so nobody can, see a beam of heat coming from his eyes. And the chair breaks and Steve falls. I thought it broke because it was a wooden chair, but actually if you look, he heat visioned the back leg so it melted and bent. And Clark catches the big pink Homer Simpson donut before it lands on his papers. And I love the smug look on Lois's face when she says, oh, you should have warned about the chairs, Clark. And Clark is like, oh, right. You lean back too far, they tip. Welcome to the planet. And so Kat starts chatting with Clark, and she says, it's been a long time, Clark, and you're still wearing glasses? You should get LASIK. Meanwhile, in his head, he's probably thinking, no, thanks. I have enough lasers in my eyes.
Thanks. I got lasers at home.
And what's actually funny, back in the day, I think this was a World War II comic. The reason why Superman didn't just join the army was because the in-story reason was he had tried to, but because when they went to test his vision, he used his X-ray vision and read the eye chart from the next room. Anyways, Kat also adds that surgery did wonders for me. And Clark says, oh, I didn't know you wore glasses. And she's all, I didn't. And then Clark just keeps giving her eye contact. He truly is a Superman.
Prolonged eye contact. Prolonged eye contact. You're sorry. It was too good of an opportunity not to miss.
What's that one from?
Oh, Bo, for anybody who doesn't know, that's from Bo Burnham's sketch.
Meanwhile, I was thinking the Kung Fu Panda bit. Kung Fu staring contest, go! You guys look amazing, by the way.
Literally, that's all I thought, just prolonged eye contact. Anyway,
Kat says, you're from another planet, Clark. And then Clark just pushes up his glasses and says, that's what they tell me. And I just love the smug look on his face when he does that. So after the meeting, Clark and Lois are talking, and Lois is justifiably disgusted with both Steve and Kat's behavior. And Lois also says that she bets that Kat has TMZ tattooed on her butt. And Clark looks back and says, gee, I don't see it. And Lois smacks him and tells him to knock it off. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this before. Because this is a continuation of the Last Son book that we did before, Lois and Clark are married, and Lois knows that Clark is Superman.
Hence her slapping him and telling him to knock it off.
Clark adds that Kat had left the Daily Planet after her son had died, and all of this flirting is just a mask. He also says that he doesn't need X-ray vision to tell when someone's hiding behind a disguise. And Lois says, yeah, me neither. And Clark goes, yeah, only if it isn't right in front of your face. And then she goes, I would have figured it out eventually. And he goes, you keep believing that. And Clark then uses his super hearing and notices that yet another flaming object is falling out of the sky. I mean, it's either Lex Luthor, it's either a supervillain smashing up the place, giant monster, or something falling out of the sky with Superman. So anyway, Clark has to suit up and go to his other job. And we cut to the Kent farm, and Pa is mending a fence, and Ma says it can wait until Clark comes the weekend, and she's got pancakes. So Pa says, coming, Martha. That name. Why did you say that name? God damn it, Batman, get out of here. I just want parents.
How many times did I tell you you cannot bother them because you're sad? I am right here.
Master Wayne, I have your bat juice box. Does it have apple juice? Of course it has apple juice. Apple juice. I'm Batman. Anyway. I also forgot if I mentioned this beforehand, but remember when we did the Super Sons and Superman's son is named John Kent?
Yes.
Ma Kent's real name is Martha. Pa's real name is Jonathan.
Oh, so that's where he got it.
So Superman named his son after his dad. So I think that's cute.
Oh, that's so cute.
So anyway, Clark catches the meteor, and it turns out it's one of those deadly robot skeletons from the flashback. And Superman goes, oh, Brainiac, what do you want this time? I'll get to the reason why Superman recognizes this as Brainiac in a bit. I also just want to point out that when the robots move, the sound effect is this creepy cock, kick, cock. And I imagine it sounds like one of those wind-up toys, but it's like really tight. So you really got to force it to wind, and it sounds like a snapping sound.
So it's like...
Yeah, like a ratchet joint on an action figure.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But the Brainiac skeleton doesn't say anything to Superman or monologue at him or whatever. And I gotta say, poor presentation. Megamind would frown upon this.
Megamind would frown upon it. And you know what? I bring this up more than I'd like to admit, but these villains should take a masterclass.
So anyway, Brainiac grabs him by the neck and tries to stab him in the head with one of those wire things we saw earlier. But he's Superman, so he just gets a nasty bump. And then it tries it again. And I love how the sound effect is whang, like banging two metal pots together. So Brainiac tries it again, and Superman grabs his hand and crushes it, and the two plummet into a lake in a forest. Superman tries to use his heat vision, but Brainiac has a personal force field, and Superman goes, okay, force field. I can break through force fields. And right as he's about to punch Brainiac, Brainiac scans the blood on Superman's head, identifies he's a Kryptonian, and shuts off. And Superman is like, I win? All in a day's work for Superman. Meanwhile, we see the skull ship from before, but it's all icy, implying it spent a lot of time out in the cold vacuum of space. And notice a whole lot of bottles with cities inside of them, and this green dude in this xenomorph-looking cocoon. And I gotta say, that alien sleeping bag does not look comfy. My back hurts just looking at him. No lumbar support.
And my back hurts to begin with, and that will not make it better.
Yep. Anyway, a computer voice says, Kryptonian encountered, locate Attempt number 242 in progress. Waspinator needed a side gig. Beast Wars don't pay. Anyway, so the Skull ship is on the move. And while it registered that the Kryptonian was found, the ship wasn't able to decipher the coordinates. And so we cut to Superman's man cave, aka the Fortress of Solitude. And Superman is there with Supergirl, aka Kara Zor-El, and they are analyzing Brainiac's body.
Supergirl is the one they made the TV show out of, right?
Correct.
Okay, so his cousin.
Yep.
I got it. All right. Just wanted to clear the air. Air is clear. We could breathe.
She was also a teenager on Krypton, and she knew Clark as her baby cousin, and she was sent into space. And the reason why she isn't older is because she was cryogenically frozen in stasis, something. Her rocket was like something, someone put the pause button on her rocket, and that's why she didn't age on the way to Earth. So anyway, Supergirl says, that's not Brainiac. And Superman explains, yeah, I know he looks different. He's an alien from the planet Kalu. His telepathic and telekinetic mind is 1,000 times more powerful than ours. And he makes a bunch of different bodies for himself, sometimes organic, sometimes robotic. And as Superman explains this, he shows all these holograms of Brainiac in his various forms, and one of which looks like the robot skeleton sitting on the table. And that's how Superman recognized who Brainiac was, because in the 70s, 80s, that's what Brainiac looked like. Superman also says it's because he noticed the molecular structure of the metal. But I'm saying he recognized it's Brainiac because it looks like the Brainiac that's a robot skeleton.
He just had a good guess. He was just like, looked at it and was like, yep, that's what it is. No, nobody's going to change my mind about that.
I mean, to be fair, how many other robot skeletons does he know? Then again, this is the DC universe, so who knows?
Who knows? Because they could say, oh, it's Brainiac, and then turn around and be like, no, it's
Actually, no, he does know another robot skeleton. Remember the guy with all the kryptonite in him that looked like a Steven Universe OC, Metallo?
Yeah.
I knew Metallo looking like a robot skeleton. So basically a Terminator with a chunk of kryptonite in his chest. Anyways, it was the 80s, so I guess Brainiac was just a big fan of Skeletor at that time.
Listen, everybody has their favorite thing.
Yeah. And in this continuity, when Superman first met Brainiac, Brainiac possessed this guy named Milton Fine who had telepathic powers. And Supergirl says, oh, yeah, I know, but this isn't Brainiac. It's like all the other drones. And Superman is like, the what? So all those other times Superman fought Brainiac and Brainiac acted all goofy or weird, those were just drones with Brainiac's programming. So basically, Supergirl is all like, that's not the worm. That's his tongue.
God.
And she then says, you've never met Brainiac. No one has. And then Superman asks, I barely got you to study up on all my other villains like Lex Luthor and Mongol. How do you know so much about Brainiac? And she explains she grew up on Krypton. And Brainiac is what kept people from going out at night. Supergirl is terrified of Brainiac. And she says, when Brainiac came to Kandor, it was the worst thing that happened to Krypton before it exploded. And Brainiac attacked Kandor months before she left. And remember a while back in the first part, in the other story, how we mentioned how Krypton's moon exploded?
Yeah.
The guy who caused it was sent to the Phantom Zone. And the moon exploding is what caught Brainiac's attention to Krypton.
Oh.
And basically, it's like Brainiac's like floating his horrifying skull ship through space, and then you just see, oh, what's that? Oh, a planet. I think I will invade. I think I am going to cause problems on purpose today. Anyway, as Supergirl is telling Superman all this, she starts melting the drone with her heat vision, and she explains what happened in the flashback. The drones came, they killed people, put up a force field, and families were separated behind an invisible wall. And when Kandor vanished, for the people of Krypton, it was like the heart of Krypton had been ripped out. And Supergirl also mentions that she had friends there, like Farah Akvar, who will actually be a character in the future comics after this book. Remember when I told you that Christopher comes back and becomes Nightwing?
Yes.
I believe Farah Akvar becomes Firebird, basically the Robin to his Batman.
Got it.
Anyway, Superman hugs her and says that nobody is going to hurt her. Not anymore. And Supergirl then says, "You've told me Lex Luthor is everything bad about humanity. Brainiac is everything bad about aliens." Supergirl says that her mother had theorized that Kandor wasn't disintegrated, but abducted. And she adds, "Instead of me looking after my baby cousin, you've been looking after me. Sometimes I wish I didn't have any memories of Krypton. Maybe then I'd be like you and not miss it as much." So then we cut to the Kent farm, and Clark is having dinner with his parents. Clark is excited because if what Kara says is true, then there could be thousands of his people out there. Ma doesn't like the fact that robots are hunting down her boy, and you know what? Fair. She's a better mother than Ursa, which isn't saying much.
True, facts.
Well, Batman's there like, "Clark, I need to borrow your mom." "What? Urgent Batman business. Away. Read me a story. Alfred won't do the voices anymore."
He says I'm too old.
"Would you like a cookie, dearie?" "Yes."
Heck yeah. And would you like kissy kissies on your boo-boos?
"Okay. Just so long as I get the Bat Band-Aids."
I thought you wanted Hello Kitty Band-Aids.
"I can have both. I have a lot of boo-boos. Mostly on the inside." "Oh, sweetie. I think I have internal bleeding. Oh, God."
Oh, sweetie. Oh, sweetie. Oh, God. Alfred? I'm not here.
All right. Anyways, Clark tells his folks that the Fortress of Solitude has used the probe and managed to get a lock on Brainiac. By probe, I mean the drone. And Clark says, "So now it's my turn to go after him." So Clark goes for a walk with Pa, and Pa tells him, "She worries about you, son. We both do." And Clark says that he didn't tell Supergirl that he's going and asks his dad, "You don't think I should go, do you?" And Pa says, "I'm too old to worry about the decisions you make." And they walk to the barn, and we see Pa has a whole keepsake chest of stuffs from Superman's childhood, and he gives him a beautiful father-son speech. Pa pulls out an old baseball, and he says, "You missed the first few swings. You always needed time to warm up, but when you hit this, you hit it clear across Smallville." And he also says it took him about 6 months to find it. I should also mention this because I don't think I did in the other one. Everyone knows that Superman lives in Metropolis, but he was raised on the Kent's farm in Smallville in Kansas. So Superman's hometown is Smallville. And that's where the name of the show Smallville came from.
Jensen Ackles still is in Smallville before he did Supernatural.
Oh. Who was he?
Jensen Ackles was pause for dramatic effect. Jason Teague? Yeah.
Jason Teague did they have Jason Todd in Smallville?
No, they had it says Jason Teague. Teague.
Oh, Teague.
Teague.
I thought you said Jason T, and I'm like, Jason Todd?
No, Jason Teague.
Okay. Anyways, back to this Superman book. Pa pulls out Clark's sneakers that melted because he ran so fast chasing a truck. And Clark goes, "I can't believe he kept all this." And Pa says, "Well, I couldn't keep you. Your place in the universe is too important for that, but even a man like me needs something to hang on to." And Pa ends his speech by saying, "You be careful out there, and if there are people that need help, you do what you always do, and don't let anything or anyone get in your way. And I'm just like, that's such a great dad speech and also such a great Superman speech.
It is a great Superman speech, and we could see Batman slowly, simply in the background listening because he's never gotten a speech like that.
He's got Alfred for that. We joke, but Alfred's his dad.
Well, yeah, we all know that.
Anyway, Superman says he won't let anyone get in his way, and he uses his heat vision to carve into a horseshoe that he gives his dad for the chest, he says, and it says "World's Greatest Dad." And I just think it's so cute and such a Superman thing where he's like, I'm going to make a present for my dad on the fly.
I wish I could make a present for my dad on the fly. It would save me so many Father's Day things.
I know, right? I mean, we can't all just grab a hunk of coal and crush it into diamond, even though that's not really how that works, but...
We could dream, can't we?
Anyways, we cut back to the Daily Planet, and Lois is telling Clark, Supergirl is probably going to follow you, but she might have her hands full with Kat's editorial. I'll do what I can to stop it, but the woman has an axe to grind with a younger woman flying around and turning heads in Metropolis. Clark tells Lois how Kara opened his eyes, that he knows a lot of facts about Krypton, but he realized he doesn't know what else he's missing, and that he still doesn't really know her, Supergirl. Lois adds that Kara doesn't know herself and that she's been through a lot of trauma. Clark is worried that she spends so much time as Supergirl that she's not being a person. I think that, she should hang out with Batgirl more. Maybe give those two a book together.
Maybe. I mean, I would read it.
I mean, it worked for the DC Superhero Girls show.
It did. Let's get on this. Someone get someone on the phone.
More Supergirl and Batgirl together, damn it.
I want pictures of Spider-Man. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong thing.
I want pictures of Supergirl and Batgirl being best friends. Clark says he just wants Kara to be happy. And Lois says, oh, you just want everyone to be happy. And Clark asks, is that wrong? And Lois goes, no, it's just unusual. But it's not unusual. It's not unusual to be loved by everyone.
Get out of here. That's it. Get out of the podcast bubble.
No.
You're grounded. Put your phone on the fridge.
Oh, yeah? Well, let's see how long you last solo. Hey, Brooke, who's Speedball?
I have no idea, but if I was solo, I would change us all around. We would go to manga. So there.
Anyways, fake fight over.
We here at We Sharing Comics Club actually do like each other. We're just fake fighting, ladies and gentlemen.
So anyway, that nice moment between Lois and Clark is immediately ruined. So Steve is throwing a football around the office because of course he is.
Of course he is. He's such a dude, bro.
Such a douche, bro. And he hits Clark in the back of the head, and Clark has to pretend that it hurt. And Steve insults Clark, naturally, and gives him a backhanded compliment about his tie. It's like, yeah, nice tie. My dad has one just like it. Steve then throws it to Jimmy, who clearly has a tray full of coffees, which then spill onto Ron. And Clark says he doesn't know how long he'll be gone for. Lois asks him to come back soon, before someone throws Steve off the roof, because he'll need Superman to catch him. And not gonna lie, I've known this guy for like 2 pages. I'm ready to throw him off the roof.
Me too.
And Clark goes, you think I would save him? And Lois says, after you let him fall a little bit. And he goes, how about a lot? And she goes, only if I get to watch. Anyway, so Superman is flying his spaceship. And to quote Double D, good Lord, man, that thing is pointy. Like one sudden stop and he'll go from Superman to Pincushion Man. It's just all these crystals just pointing directly at him. Anyways, Superman is watching data files from Krypton about Brainiac, and we see General Zod sounding like a general in a 50s sci-fi movie wanting to kill Brainiac. And we also see Superman shaving by using his heat vision reflected in a mirror to burn the excess hair off. So that's how Superman shaves, if you didn't know. Anyways, one of the files that Superman is watching features Non, the big guy from General Zod's team from the last book. Mm-hmm. Only here he's able to speak, and I kind of glossed over it, but Non was actually Superman's father's mentor. And I checked online. Apparently, after leading the separatist movement, Non was lobotomized by the Kryptonian Council. And yikes. And
nice.
But if it makes you feel better, Non is actually the one hiding Chris from Zod and Ursa in the Phantom Zone, and he helps him escape and basically becomes rehabilitated. He still only says but But basically, what Non says is that he thinks Brainiac's attack was twofold, and he mentions Jor-El's studies about the planet's destruction. But then the recording ends because apparently the Kryptonian archives are incomplete, much like the Jedi archives. Superman has to leave anyway because Brainiac is attacking this planet where these 3 alien species live. And I want to get into it because this character will probably never pop up again. These 3 aliens are from the DC comic Ultra the Multi-Alien, and just Google what he looks like.
Multi-alien. He has a chicken leg?
Yeah.
No. Oh, he does have a chicken leg.
Actually, it's from an owl, but yeah, it's a chicken leg.
Chicken. This is nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Ultra got his powers because of a bunch of other aliens were fighting, and apparently they all had the idea, hey, if I can turn another creature into like a clone of me or my species, then we can fight the others. And he gets shot by all 4 of them at the same time. There were 4, but on this one, there's only 3 shown. And because he was shot by all 4 of them, he wasn't under any of their mind control, but he still had the powers of all 4. He also looked like, you took 4 aliens and sliced them down the middle. Naturally, the owl alien's leg gave him the ability to fly. He's so weird.
I don't even have words to describe how weird this looks. If you're listening, definitely look up Ultra the Multi-Alien just to have that experience, but you too will be just as confused with an easy payment of $9.95 to your soul because you're going to need it.
Plus shipping and handling. He also just looks like, hey, Two-Face? 2 + 2 is what if 4-Face? But the face isn't down there. Well, he's like an alien, a multi-alien. What's his name? Oh, he's Ultra the Multi-Alien. God damn it. Send it to print.
This is perfect.
This is gold. Anyways, back to the story. Superman twists off one of the drone's heads like a soda bottle, and then he asks, "Take me to your leader." And Superman is about to punch Brainiac's skull ship in the eye when he hits the force field, and a tentacle swats him away. Brainiac then walls off the city with the other force field, and Superman tries to punch it, but all he gets are bloody knuckles, and the city disappears. The skull ship sends a rocket towards the planet's neighboring sun, which then causes it to explode. And the skull ship has a force field, but Superman took the brunt of the explosion. And then the skull ship takes Superman, and it says, "Kryptonian found." So we check back in on Metropolis, and Kat is wearing her work clothes, her pink Jessica Rabbit looking dress, and her army of simps are at her beck and call. Ice blended mocha? It's how you like it? And she says, "Put it in the fridge. I'll get thirsty later." Almond croissant? Do you think I got this figure by eating all that junk? Pick me up a yogurt parfait from across the street. Extra strawberries. I'll get it for you, Kat. Hey, she asked me. I'll go get you one from that fancier yogurt place across town. I will go to France and get you the best parfait. And I'm like, wow. Donkey was right. Everybody does love parfaits.
Man, can you imagine if I had people to do that for me? That'd be nice.
Yeah, but you'd use your powers for good.
Yeah, in all honesty, I would. I'd be like, you, go build that house for the homeless man.
Army of simps, assemble. Help feed the poor.
Adopt all the dogs.
I mean, that one's twofold, because that helps the dogs, and then that helps you, because then you get all those dogs.
Exactly.
Anyways, Supergirl shows up, and one of the guys drops the coffee at Kat's feet, and Supergirl asks where Clark is. And Kat tells her that he's in Coast City, which is Green Lantern's town. No other reason, I just want to point that out. And Kat gets all mad because Supergirl calls her ma'am. And then Supergirl notices something odd. Supergirl's X-ray vision is picking up some plastics right in her, and then Lois Lane jumps in and averts disaster.
I think we can leave that to the listener's imagination. So whatever you decide, listener, leave it in the comments. What do you think he was talking about?
So Lois says Clark was supposed to interview Supergirl, but Lois says she'll cover it. Lois also tells Supergirl, don't say anything. You do not want to antagonize that woman. Just smile and say bye. So Supergirl does, and you see all the dudes smiling, and Kat giving a look Cruella de Vil would give to anyone, really.
You know, I used to be so scared of Cruella de Vil. I mean, who wouldn't? But like, I was uber scared.
I mean, yeah, she's like the embodiment of that song about the Grinch.
Yeah.
Like she's got spiders in her soul.
And her soul's full of gunk.
Oh, game theory. What if Cruella de Vil is actually related to Vicky? And that's why she's so nasty.
Matt Pat wants to know your address.
Oh, yeah. Supergirl tells Lois that she's been asking all over and wants to know where her cousin is. We then cut and find out where. Turns out Clark is on Brainiac's ship getting probed on the table by a bunch of Brainiac drones. And Superman gets a vision of Brainiac abducting another city. Then he wakes up and thrashes the Brainiac drones. And Superman takes out all the wires and tubes Brainiac had him hooked up to. And the one in the mouth is just straight up too long. It should not be that long. It should not go that far down.
No.
And also, the fact that it looks bony does not help. It looks so nasty. And Superman also barfs. And I'd like to think it's because after he pulled that thing out, he was all, oh, that was in my mouth? He then looks around the ship and notices all the people in the pods. And it looks like Brainiac had a Xenomorph Queen as his interior designer.
Yay.
And we also see Ultra in one of the pods. He's the one that's half blue and half green. He's like a space Two-Face. Space face.
Space face.
Brainiac then releases Coco, and a giant white baboon attacks Superman. Now, in the older comics, Brainiac had like a white monkey named Coco, and he was more Abu from Aladdin sized and would like just sit on Brainiac's shoulders. Sadly, Coco was not like the Iago to his Jafar, and be voiced by Gilbert Gottfried and make sarcastic comments.
Mm-hmm.
But that can change.
I can. People write stories, different multiverses.
Mm-hmm.
It could happen. Someone get someone on this phone right now.
Well, in the multiverse, it already has.
You are right.
So Superman fights Coco, and I love how he says, sorry, Coco, I know you're probably just another specimen Brainiac keeps in a jar, but I don't like being screamed at. And he punches Coco so hard it chips a tooth.
Oh,
and
no.
What's weird to me is when Coco is on the ground, his limbs look more dog-like. And I wonder if Gary Frank had a dog that he used for reference for that scene.
Wouldn't him punching Coco be animal abuse?
Coco is attacking him, so I'd call it self-defense.
All right.
So Superman finds Brainiac's room filled with bottle cities, and he hears the Kryptonian language and finds the city of Kandor. But then the wire holding the city shoots up, and Brainiac wakes up and comes out of his cocoon thing. And Superman goes, hello, Brainiac. And then he stops and he notices how big Brainiac is. And Brainiac says, Superman, at last. And I also want to mention that this look for Brainiac is what they use in the Injustice video games. The whole black and white with a little bit of pink. And I actually dig this look for Brainiac. How about you?
I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen Brainiac, so I don't really have anything of reference.
I mean, you have that whole flashback scene, but...
I mean, yeah, well, yes. But like, you know.
I know. Culturally,
I do not have a reference. When reading it, yes, I do. And I honestly like this version more than the flashback.
Yeah. Anyway, Brainiac grabs Superman by the neck and says that you belong to me now. And kind of mirroring that bit with Zod and Ursa saying that Chris belonged to them. I feel like, I don't think it's intentional, but like I like the parallel. Superman says he doesn't know how many other bottled cities Brainiac has, but no one belongs to him. And then he kicks Brainiac in the head. Brainiac just says they do, and Superman heat visions him in the face. So Brainiac smacks Superman into a wall, and more robot tentacles come out of the ship. And Brainiac says how he will be everything that has ever been and how he will be evolved to perfection. Then we cut back to the Kent farm, and it's pretty windy out. Ma wants Pa to come inside. Pa tells her not to worry so much about Clark, and she mentions a bunch of other things he's faced, but this one feels different. John says that their bird had left the nest a long time ago. Just picture him flying. And on cue, a bird drops out of the sky dead. So that's a bad sign.
Yeah. I mean, a bird dying just out of nowhere? Yeah.
Yeah, might want to call for backup. Hey, Supergirl, a bird just dropped out of the sky dead. Could you come over, just maybe take a look around? So back with Brainiac. Brainiac talks about how he believed Kandor to be the last of Kryptonian data, but then he learned of Superman. Superman's existence allows others to share in Kryptonian science and culture, and Brainiac cannot allow information to be shared. He would be our worst enemy, because we are literally the Sharing Comics Club. Our whole thing is sharing.
Yeah, we share everything.
Not everything.
Well, we don't share organs.
I was going to say we don't share toothbrushes, but sure, go grosser. Anyway, Superman then describes Brainiac's whole MO: take a city, a piece of their culture, and incinerate everything else so that nothing else remains, blah, blah, blah. Brainiac then humble brags at how his spinal station can sort the knowledge of over 7 octodecillion beings, and how his own brain can process 70 times that. And Brainiac says how he's been searching for Superman for decades, how he hasn't woken up in over 3 centuries, and how he hasn't left his ship in 5. He also talks about how unimpressed he is with Superman and how his suit holds no purpose. Superman tells him his costume is based on the Kryptonian flag and his father's family crest. So consider me a representative of the planet you terrorized. And he breaks through and punches Brainiac in the face. Brainiac grabs him and asks him, "What do you hope to accomplish here? Because you accomplished a lot for me. Thanks to your ship, I know where your homeworld is, where your adopted homeworld is. And thanks to the mind probes, I know about your cousin. And soon, she will belong to me too." Brainiac also has a Thrax moment from Osmosis Jones, where Brainiac is trying to break his record for how fast he can destroy a world. The first world took him a year. The next 4 worlds took him 6 months. And the next 20 took him 6 weeks. Soon, he'll be able to strip a world in a matter of hours. And with each world he assimilates, the stronger he grows. So we cut back to Earth, and Supergirl is asking Lois why he didn't just tell her where he was going. And Steve is getting on Ron's, and let's be honest, probably everyone else's nerves, when Brainiac's ship shows up in the middle of Metropolis. So Brainiac attacks Metropolis, and Supergirl is freaking out like, oh God, he's here. So the drones descend onto the Daily Planet building, and Kat grabs Jimmy and tells him to activate his signal watch because Jimmy has I don't think I covered it last time. Superman gave Jimmy a signal watch that acts as an SOS and sends out a signal that only Superman, and I would guess that Supergirl and Krypto can also hear.
Best boy.
Yes, best boy. Ron and Steve are faced with one of the Brainiac drones, and Steve asks, you got like 4 degrees, Ron, and Ron corrects him 6. And Steve goes, you got any idea what that is? And then Ron goes, not friendly. And I'm like, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong, and he has a good idea.
He's not wrong, and he's focusing on the big thing. It's big, it's scary, it ain't friendly.
It's big, it's not friendly. I am not gonna find out if it ever will be.
Back on the roof, so Supergirl is faced with more Brainiac drones, and she tries to question them, but they aren't talking. She tries to heat vision them, but they have the force field, just like last time. Supergirl tells Lois to run, and Supergirl says that she's done running. And she punches one of the drones through the chest. Back on Brainiac's skull ship, he's squeezing Superman's head like a grapefruit. And he says how he knows what Superman is thinking because he scanned his memories and created an algorithm to predict what he'll think in a given situation. And how Superman must be scared for Supergirl and the rest of his adopted homeworld. But don't worry, they'll all live on in Brainiac. Superman says he won't let Brainiac destroy his home. And Brainiac is disgusted that Superman thinks himself as a human, that he is a being of an amalgam of worlds, and how Brainiac is connected to everything in his ship, but he wouldn't consider himself anything less but a Kaluan. So Superman takes that tube connected to Brainiac's head and bites it, severing the connection. Also, Brainiac calls his ship his like biosphere or bioshell or something. I call it the skull ship because it's alliterative and I think it sounds cooler and more badass. Superman then says, inflicting pain on others doesn't seem to bother you, but it bothers me. And then he punches Brainiac again. And then he goes, usually. So Superman finds Kandor again and a beam shoots out of it. And he's all, oh no! But then the voice says, wait. It's not Brainiac. It's us from Kandor. And Superman is taken aback because the voice sounds just like his father. But it turns out it's his uncle. His uncle Zor-El and his wife Allura ask if Superman has seen their daughter, Supergirl. And back on Earth, Supergirl is smashing the Brainiac bots, and Ron and Steve manage to put their differences aside and are able to use a desk to knock one bot out a window and save Kat. And turns out the bottle cities keep the people young. And then Superman points out Supergirl's parents weren't in Kandor when it was taken. They were supposed to be in Argo City. After Brainiac took Kandor, they took a Brainiac robot's head and managed to pull enough data from it to recreate one of Brainiac's force fields. It worked and they were able to save Argo City from destruction, but Brainiac sensed someone using his tech and attacked the city. I think it also might have been, okay, destroy the planet, time to move on. Wait, what's that bit? Oh, someone's using my tech. Oh, well then, can't have that. I don't like people sharing information that isn't mine.
What's mine is mine, and you can't do anything about it.
Yep. So Brainiac integrated what he wanted from Argo City into Kandor, and he killed anyone that he felt was redundant in information, whatever that means. Zor-El then says how he managed to send Kara in a rocket before Brainiac could get her. And just then, Brainiac interrupts the conversation because just because he separated the cord from his body to the ship doesn't mean he's incapacitated. So in Soul Eater terms, his ship is his body and his body is his ship.
So like Krona, basically.
No, the other guy. Krona was in that episode, but I'm talking about the guy that was like possessing the ship that the kid was fighting on.
Oh, that ship. Okay.
Nidhogg. That was his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brainiac plans to assimilate every world in the universe. Meanwhile, Supergirl is almost taken out by a Brainiac drone, and Lois saves her by whacking it in the head with a fire extinguisher.
As one does.
Yeah. And then Brainiac abducts Supergirl. Brainiac then starts torturing Superman, and Brainiac says, I have not felt pleasure in over 200 years. Thank you. Hear me out. Maybe get a hobby. You like collecting? Maybe try collecting something else. Like action figures or comic books or coins.
And you could be called the Collector.
And that's Marvel. That's a different guy. And what's funny is that's actually what the Justice League does to him in one of the Lego DC movies. They keep him occupied by getting him to collect coins instead of cities. It is super adorable. Oh, hey, Brainiac, there's also this closet filled with figures of anime girls. No, don't go in there. That's my private room. So Brainiac abducts and shrinks the city of Metropolis. Actually, no, he shrinks and abducts the city of Metropolis. Not the other way around. It wouldn't fit the other way around.
No.
And then he gloats about how, it's dumb that they call you Superman because you aren't a man at all and you're not super. Not like me. And he goes on, because of course he does. It is incomprehensible that you thought you could outthink me. And then he just says, your mind is small. Like, your mind is small and smooth. Not like my brain, big and wrinkled and green.
And old. What? No, that's not what I meant.
I also wanted to mention that it was at this moment that I realized that Brainiac also served as inspiration for Megamind.
I was going to ask you about that.
Megamind is like a combination of a couple characters. You got like Brainiac, Lex Luthor, this Hulk villain called the Leader, and I'd say a little bit of Sinestro, mostly because in some versions he had a mustache, but then again, that could have also been Leader, but still. Anyways, Superman is in Brainiac's techno-organic Snuggie of Doom, patent pending, and Brainiac threatens to forcibly download the data of worlds into Superman's brain, turning his brain into sludge, basically. And the Kents see that Brainiac sends his little rocket out, and Brainiac tells Superman that his solar aggressor will reach the sun in 57 minutes, destroying Earth, just like Krypton. Also, I just want to point out, solar aggressor just sounds like something you'd find in like a G.I. Joe set. Like, oh no, the Cobra's using their solar aggressor.
It's like those old like toy commercials. And it's
Yes.
like, now with G.I. Joe.
I mean, they also had Cobra Rattlers and Cobra Trouble Bubbles. I wouldn't put it past them to have a Cobra solar aggressor. It sounds like something straight out of an 80s cartoon.
Yeah.
Yes, we will use our solar aggressor to blow up the sun. And I just imagine G.I. Joe going like, why would you want that?
We don't like summer.
And I just imagine like the other sane members of Cobra, which isn't saying much, like Baroness and Destro going like, wait, that's the plan?
Yes.
Anyways, so Brainiac has Metropolis, he has Supergirl, he has Superman, and he launched his rocket that'll blow up the sun. But Brainiac is surprised because apparently assimilating Earth won't help his evolution. He just hasn't seen the fan fiction yet.
No, he has not.
He says it doesn't have the scientific advances Krypton had, and our weapons are rudimentary compared to the worlds he's seen, which for the most part, yeah, but I'm going to have to call bullshit on it because, Cyborg exists in addition to, Batman. But you know what? The superheroes don't like to share their super tech, so you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
He calls it devoid of any quantifiable value and that Earth's culture is useless. He also slams Superman against the dome surrounding Metropolis, the bottle. So Lois Lane just sees Superman's giant cheeks up against the dome. Superman's giant face, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And Brainiac asks, what could this vacuous world possibly provide you? But if Brainiac could hear Lois, he would have his answer because she says to Clark that if this is the end, to know how much she loves him. And, it's the little people, literally in this case.
Yeah.
But even if Brainiac could hear her, he wouldn't like it because, he's a dick.
Yeah.
Then Superman breaks free and punches Brainiac. But Brainiac catches his fist and squeezes, and then says that Superman has wasted his potential, that he's just a brute. And Superman grabs him by those pink lights all around his head, and he says, when I need to be, and then punches him again. And I just noticed how many times I wrote in the script, and then Superman punches Brainiac. And then he demands his lunch money.
He punches him again.
Then Superman blasts Brainiac with heat vision and tells him how when he was connected to those worlds, he could hear them all crying out for vengeance. So Superman grabs Metropolis and Kandor, the two he cares about and the two we care about, and flies away. And on his way out, he promises that he will be back for the rest of them. Meanwhile, the drones are strapping Supergirl to the table, ready to experiment on her, and Superman blasts through the wall, destroys the drones, and saves Supergirl. Supergirl's freaking out, and Superman's like, Kara, I'll handle Brainiac. You gotta handle the rocket that's gonna explode the sun. Supergirl doesn't think she can do it, but Superman reassures her. She says that she's scared, and Superman says it's okay to be scared. And you know what? It's okay to feel sad sometimes.
Sometimes.
So confidence restored, Supergirl flies off, and Brainiac goes, your cousin will fail. But Superman has faith in her, and he says, we'll see. And then Brainiac's like, no, I'll see. And then the two fight, and Brainiac goes, I hold life in the palm of my hand. I control it. And Superman says, life can't be controlled or bottled. All this knowledge, and you don't know anything about life. This ship is your bottle, Brainiac, and I'm going to take you out of it. So Superman bursts out the side of the ship, and Brainiac falls. And here's where you're probably going to say, oh yeah, this is just like me, dragging you out of your comfort zone.
You knew exactly what I was going to say.
That's my secret, Brooke. I don't have a comfort zone. I'm just always uncomfortable.
Everywhere's my comfort zone.
So Brainiac falls right into a swamp, and I wish it was Brainiac versus Swamp Thing, but no.
Boo!
I know. Missed opportunity. Tech versus nature. But Brainiac is freaking out because all of the microorganisms touching him. So he's basically like Melman in that one bit from Madagascar. Nature! It's all over me! Get it off! Get it off! So Superman kicks him in the head and he says, welcome to Earth, Brainiac. The cities then start buzzing, and Brainiac reveals that you can't take the cities out of the ship because the containment fields won't hold. So while Brainiac is dragging himself out of the mud, he talks about how he knows where Superman lives because of the whole brain download thing. And he says, you take my home, I'll take yours. And then another rocket comes out of Brainiac's skull ship. So Superman puts Metropolis back where it belongs, and it's back to normal size. It'd be funny if like, oh man, now uptown is downtown and downtown is uptown. Everything's all different now.
No, man.
But I'm sure with his supervision, he knew exactly where to put it so everything would be lined up.
Yeah.
And once they're back to normal size, Lombard wants a hug from Kat, and Kat is all, don't even think about it. And that other rocket, it goes to the Kent's farm. And Pa pushes Martha out of the way. And meanwhile, Supergirl tosses the rocket headed for the sun away. And Superman takes the city of Kandor to the fortress at the North Pole. But before he could get it inside, it grows to normal size. Or I should say, he wasn't going to take it to the fortress, but it grows to normal size. Back at the farm, Pa tells Ma everything is going to be all right, but then Pa grabs his arm and he collapses. Ma calls for Clark, and I don't think he can hear her because of the kabooming that the city is making. But when it's over, he hears Ma call Pa's name, and Superman shoots back at breakneck speed. But he's too late. Pa Kent has passed away.
Which honestly, when that happened, I got very upset because I was like, he was just being a good dad.
He's just a good dad.
Ugh.
We don't have enough of those in the DC universe. And so we have the funeral for Jonathan Kent, and we see some familiar faces, including Bruce Wayne, Alfred, Jimmy Olsen, and I think Lana Lang. She's the redheaded woman, and she was Superman's girlfriend back in Smallville. Yeah, Superman has dated Lois Lane and Lana Lang.
Very confusing.
Yeah.
Also, Bruce Wayne being there just goes back to our little, like, Batman quips.
Yeah. But in his heart of hearts, you know Batman is just like, Clark, I am so sorry. And if you need a friend, I'm there for you.
Yeah.
If you need a friend to help you get over the death of your parents,
I'm the one to call.
I'm the one to call. And I appreciate that. Sadly, he doesn't say anything, but like the fact that he's there, like, speaks volumes.
Yeah.
We also get a scene of Superman breaking into prison and just pounding away at Brainiac. But thankfully, we reveal it's just a dream sequence, which I think is interesting and funny because we never really see Brainiac in prison, especially like an Earth prison. Because like, if anything, like he's like, Brainiac is like so like powerful or whatever, he might like interface with the technology of the doors or whatever and just walk out or whatever. But or if he would be in any prison, it would probably be a Green Lantern prison. But I like this as an interesting like take. I also just think it's funny because Brainiac's in nothing but like his green underpants. Not his green, his black underpants. And it just reminds me of that bit from the Cartoon Network promos of the Super Friends cartoon where the Legion of Doom is having a meeting, and then Brainiac has this line where they all have this line where they all want different things, and Brainiac is just like, I just want some pants, a decent pair of pants. And I'm just like, wow, I guess he wants a decent pair of pants here too.
I mean, in all honesty, he probably could have just asked Ma, and she'd be like, hold on, I got you. I will make you a pair of pants right now.
Probably not, because Brainiac caused the death of her husband.
Well, not now.
Yeah. It's also funny because in the Super Friends cartoon, Brainiac had this like pink shirt and this white collar undershirt, and then just like a black underpants Speedo looking thing. And I'm like, God, his legs have got to be real cold. If they weren't green, they'd be blue. Clark is mourning his father, and Lois asks if he's okay. And Clark says no, because Brainiac is alive and my father is not, and there's nothing I can do. And Lois tells him, no, just don't forget what he taught you. So Superman looks through the memory chest that his father had made, and we see a kite, a baseball cap he got from the future, because as a boy, Superman was a member of the Legion of Superheroes in the future because of time travel. And then he finds the horseshoe that he made for his dad earlier in the book, and he remembers what his father told him. If there are people who need help, you do what you always do. Don't let anyone or anything get in your way. And then he just breaks down and cries. And I really love this book because the thing that I find interesting about this is that this is just every time Superman meets Brainiac for the first time. Brainiac comes to Earth, Metropolis specifically. He invades. He plans to steal the city of Metropolis and keep it in a bottle. He also has the city of Kandor bottled. And Superman beats the snot out of him and takes the city of Kandor back. Usually Superman just keeps it in the fortress, and sometimes he'll shrink down and visit. This time, because Kandor grew, there's this whole story with everyone adjusting called New Krypton. But I like this because they managed to do the thing Brainiac always does, but they managed to find a way to make Brainiac feel more threatening. And it also feels like an old 50s horror movie, especially earlier with Zod acting like a 50s general going, oh, we got to blow him up. But the aliens are invading and they feel nothing and they don't care. But we have Superman who does care. And I really appreciate that with Superman.
Bye.
No, I'm pretty much done. So, any of your thoughts?
Well, you already know my thoughts about Superman. I mean, in all honesty, this one was a little bit more interesting only because the flashbacks and you saw the relationship between his Earth parents and him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cute. I thought it was cute.
Yeah. Now, sadly, Krypto was absent from this book, or else it would have been a perfect book for you.
Duh. But it's okay. We'll get there.
It's okay. Krypto was busy. Let's just say Krypto was busy.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you once again for joining us at the Sharing Comics Club. If you want this book, we will provide a link in the description, both an Amazon link and a link to Hoopla if you just want to rent it. And always remember to support your local libraries and your local comic book stores, because without them, we would not be able to do this show.
Also, like and subscribe for more cool comic content. And with that, we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.